So we have all our devices lined up. So let's go through the instruction first. So we have all the IP addresses given. So we're not going to configure the end devices like PC or switch. We are only going to focus on what we covered in this chapter, how to configure static routing. So let's go with the instructions. So first we have to configure these interfaces. So I did not configure interfaces. So here we're assuming, so this one is R1, R1, R2, and R3. So let's quickly configure these interfaces. So R1, we're just gonna go. Enable. IP address. So G0, G0 is no in. Okay, we are R1. We have to configure on R1 G01. So interface G0/1 IP address 172.30.1 255.255.255. Oh, 255.0. Enter. We have to no shut. What else? What other interface we have to configure in R1 S0? Okay, so interface S0/0. Okay. Does anybody know what these 30 means? I explained it. Why there are 3 zeros?
Yeah.
IP address pen dot one dot
Or two.
It's the port of the interface.
A.
The router's interface.
Yeah, this is router interface, but why it's not just S0? Why there's S0/0/0/0? Because I explained it to you guys.
But isn't it because it's one side of the router? It's just showing the other port side of the router.
Good, very close. Well, the correct explanation is because you have slots on the router, right? You have slot 0, slot 1, just like interfaces. So if your interface is inserted into the slot 0, so that's what it means, S00, and the third 0 means the board, because in what board inside the router the slot is attached. So that's why there are 3 zeros. Okay, 255, 255, 255, 252, 252. So that's S000. And what does it mean? DCE. How do we have to configure DCE? What is the command?
Is that not the clock rate?
That's it. Clock rate, I'm gonna try 128,000. Let's see if it works. That's it, it worked. It doesn't matter. There are 2 types of, mostly you use 2 numbers, 128,000. If that doesn't work, use 64,000. It doesn't matter, okay? If it's 128,000 or 64,000, whichever the hardware accepts. So these are the most common. And why do we set the clock rate? Somebody asked me in the lab and I explained it very, let's see if this person remembers.
Because when you connect between 2 routers, there isn't a modem involved. So it needs to have its clocking configured instead of it being automatically done.
Exactly, good. So I explained it to Jesse. When you're connecting 2 routers directly, like in this topology, there's no modem, because usually the routers connect to the modem and then connect to the other location. But since and the modem provide synchronization. And so when you're connecting two routers directly, you configure one interface to provide synchronization by setting the clock rate. And that's why it's called DCE, okay? And the only interface you can configure as DCE is S0. So many of you experience it in the lab when you're configuring the clock rate, and it says, oh, you can it can only be configured on DCE because you are using this command. So okay, sorry, it could be configured on S01 as well, but the cable. So when you use the serial cable, it has two ends. One is DCE and one is DTE. So make sure when, the interface you're configuring as DCE, it uses the DCE side of the cable.
DCE and what's the other one called? I didn't catch it.
DTE, data terminal emulation.
Oh, DTE. Okay, got it.
So router are the DTE device. Okay, so we set the clock rate. Now let's go through what else we're gonna configure. So we configure interface. So only two interfaces on R1. Let's go to is R2. Okay, this is R2. I'm just gonna double check. Yes, this is R2. And you notice I have two copies of the same lab here and there. So this way I don't have to go back and forth, right? I can always, so in one, I have my IP addressing, and the other one has the instruction. I'll use it as an instruction. So you can do the same thing. Okay, so 2 is in what I'm doing. Enable config T interface. So how many so on R2 we have G0. Okay, first G0/0 IP address 209. Is it a private address or a public address? This one. What do you guys
Private.
think about this address?
It's a public address.
It's a public address. So remember, get the list of private and public IP address, okay? One, and the subnet mask is 255.255.255.0. That's it. No shit. Okay, is it DCE or no? No. Oh, well, this is D0. So the next one is in S0560 IP address is 10.1.1.2. 10.1.1.2. Subnet mask is 252. What does it mean when the subnet mask is 252? Oh, it means it has
3
been,
or 4 hosts.
yeah,
4, I think.
exact. Yeah, it has been subnetted again.
Oh, that's what
the original, and it has been subnetted again 252 just for the link between two routers, not the network, just okay. So what did I do here? Little typo, spelling mistake. All right, so R2, we configure this, no shut. Now what we have to do? We have to configure S01 on R2 as well, and we have to configure it as DCE. Let's see. What is the IP address here? That's 0. 10.2.2.2. 2.
It's .2.2.2.
Yeah,
One.
it's all twos, right?
Yeah, .2.
Mhm.
And then the fourth octet is 1.
Now S1 is all 2.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Then 3 2. So always double check, because it can mess up your whole configuration. You configure everything, when you start testing connectivity, doesn't work because
Yeah.
maybe you made a typo. Okay.
Yeah.
So I always double check. So 10 222 255 255 252, right?
Yeah.
And just enter, and
No
we have
shot.
set the clock rate.
Clock rate, and then no shot.
120,000.
Sir, is that like the standard clock rate for?
Yeah, either is 128 for this type of model,
Okay.
and mostly other model too. Okay.
Okay. Thanks.
Any other model I have I configured, I use 64,000. And it's always work.
Okay. Okay. Good.
64,000 is universal. So anytime you type 128,000 and it says marker detected, like something wrong, it doesn't mean you're typing the wrong command. Just change it to 64,000. Okay.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
All right. What other? So we configured. Now we have to configure R3, right? We configured all 3 interfaces on R2. Now we have R3. So I'm not going to configure these devices. I'm not going to test the connectivity. That's what you guys have to do after. I'm just going to show you how to enable dynamic routing. So our device must be powered on. Who turn off the power? Oh, so you see S00 means, so we have 2 slots, this one and that one. If I insert the slot here, it would be S010. Gets confusing. S010, because this is the first slot. This is the slot number 1, and this is the slot number 0. That's why it's S000. Okay. Would you like to enter the initial configuration? Yes.
No.
But I type yes. What I'm gonna do? How I'm gonna get out of here? I did it on purpose to show you guys. So Control C. Just
Yes.
press Control C, and you're out of this management setup. Okay. Enable config T. Interface R3, we go to G01. Okay. Interface G0/1. IP address 172.30.31, 172.30.30.1, and subnet mask is 255.0. 255.255.255.0. Okay. And it was G0, right? Okay. Enter. No shit. Okay. If you pay attention here, you notice on R1, the G0, the Ethernet interface, which is G0, has subnet mask of 24-bit. Same thing on R2. Ethernet interface has the subnet mask of 24-bit. R3, the same thing. Ethernet interface has a subnet mask of 24-bit. But the other interface are 30 bits, 252, because these other interface, you see, they're serial. These interfaces are connected to other routers, okay? They're not connected to the LAN. So the serial interface is connected to other router here and here, both, okay? So in this case, you subnet the subnet, and you come up with only two interface IDs, because that's all you need for two interface ID between routers when you're connecting routers. Anyway, this was we covered that in previous chapters, so you guys should know. Okay, so and now we have to configure what other interface? S00, S0 /0/1, which one is R3, and what is the IP address for this interface? I would be better off this. What is the IP address? (252). Are you guys following me, or am I going too fast?
Yeah, following you, sir.
All right, perfect. Okay, now the real work we're gonna do. Now we have to make PC-A to communicate to PC-B, PC-B to communicate to PC-C, and PC-C to vice versa. Everybody should be able to communicate, all right? Now, well, I'm not gonna test it, then you guys will figure out after. So let's go through the instruction. All right, so first, so we have to, now we're gonna configure the routing protocol. Now we're gonna configure the routing protocol, okay? So first, you can pick any router. You can start from router 3, router 2, it doesn't matter, okay? The sequence. So, well, we're gonna start from router 1. And what did we, so router 1 will advertise its network to router 2 and router 3, okay? So first we have to do is enable configure. So we have to go to the global configuration, and then we have to enable router RIP. So the command is very simple, router RIP. We enable. Now, by default, when I just type router RIP, it enables version 1, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna enable version 2, because version 2 is classless. Version 1 is classful, and version 1 is classless. And it does automatic summary as well. So classful and classless is, here, if we have multiple subnet mask, if we only have one subnet mask, 255 in our whole network, we can use version 1. But if we have multiple subnet mask, which is classless, right? This is beyond the scope of this course. Classless route summarization is more advanced topic. So maybe this is, you guys can learn on your own later on. But we're just touching the basics. So for you to, at this point, the only thing you need to understand is, or remember it, if you have different subnet mask, more than one subnet mask, you have, this is classless. If you have only one subnet mask in your network, if there was only 255, there was no 252, then is classful. Since is classless, we have to use version 2. Okay, so, but make it a habit. It doesn't matter. Always, whenever you're configuring router RIP, use version 2.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, version 2. Now, anybody remember what is the passive interface?
Yeah, it's like, it's when the port, it could how you say, it contains no routers. When it doesn't send out like the routing signals or the
Beautiful, bingo, exactly. So you see G0. it says passive interface G001. You see on router 1, G0 is connected to the switch. Okay, it's not connected to the router. So there's no need to send routing updates to the switch. It's useless. It creates extra traffic. It uses extra bandwidth on the network and extra resources of the router. So what we are going to do is we're going to stop the update on this interface G0 by using this command. It's going to be in the exam, so you better remember this. So passive that's what I told you. It's more important to understand the concept. Command, you can Google it, you can use the help function, you can use cheat sheet, whatever. I don't actually require you to memorize the command, because the thing is, I'm preparing you for the job market. And when you go to work, you will have all these resources at your disposal. But the one thing you're not going to have is somebody will explaining what is a passive. If you have no idea what is a passive interface, even if you Google it, you're not going to understand. You're going to read something and you you won't even know what to Google. Sorry, first of all. Okay, so these things, even in order to research something, you have to have an idea what you're searching for.
So, sir, like, so just for the passive interface, okay. So the router, because on the network, it's when it's beside a switch.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what it's not sending out the router information to the switch. So that's
exactly, you don't need to. If you don't use this command and you enable routing, it will send the update to all the interface by default, including G0, S0, whatever interface is configured. So, but since you don't need to send any update to the switch, because switch does not need routing update, they're not a router, they cannot use this update. It's just useless. So you stop the update on any interface that is not connected to the router. So how many interfaces we have to configure as passive interfaces? G0 on R1. What else, Kevin?
the F0/5.
No, that is
Okay,
the
so just
interface
one then.
no, just on the router.
Okay, so just one.
Yeah, just one. But then on R2.
Oh yeah, R2.
G0.
But it's not a router. It's only if it's connected to a switch, right?
No, I said if it's not connected to a router. So either it's connected to the switch or a computer. It's a computer.
Oh yeah, okay. So yeah, so you have
anything that is not connected to the router.
Okay, so you have the G0/0
on R2, and the same thing. Oh, and R3.
It would be G0/1 on R3.
Exactly. Okay, so we stop this. So on R1, we first we stop the update on the passive interface. Okay. The next thing, we're still in the router mode. So next thing, what we have to do, what do you guys think these commands are doing? Network 172, what are these commands
Well,
are doing?
isn't it sending out the packet to the network that you're
They're advertising. No, the correct term is they're advertising their network.
Oh yeah,
that they're directly connected to. We just configure these networks, so it's advertising this network and this network. Okay, so that's what we are advertising, the directly connected network. The command is network 172.30.0.0. Okay, network 10.0.0.0. All right, so we configure R1 And let's see what we got here. If we click Control Z, we verify, show IP interface brief. So we have these two interfaces. They're serial 0, yes, manual and administratively down. Why is serial 0? Oh, because we did not. Huh? Or maybe I did not.
Did you forget to save it or something, or no?
I forgot to no shutdown. I forgot to use no shutdown command. So what I'm gonna do is interface S00. Is it 1, right? No, is it 000? S00. Okay. Yes, manual administratively down. When it says it's administratively down, it means you did not use no shutdown command. This is how you know. Okay.
So it means it was configured, but you didn't use no shutdown.
Exactly. When it says administratively down, it means you did not use no shutdown command. This is how you know. When it says interface is down, remember, that means the interface is connected to is not active. So that's the difference. All right, let's see. Exit. No. Control Z will always take you directly to the privilege mode. Okay, now you can use shortcuts. Okay, so here we're gonna type show interface brief. And is it up or is it still administratively down? No, it's up now. You see? So remember that when it says administratively down, it means you did not use the no shutdown command. When it says down, interface is down, it means the other interface that is connected to is not configured yet. So it's not receiving signal from the other interface. Okay, so show IP interface brief, they're up. Show IP protocol. Let's see what we got here. So routing protocol is RIP, update is sending, blah, 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 whatever. Routing for these networks. These are the network we are advertising to other networks. Okay, we're telling other people, okay, these are the networks that I'm serving. Okay. Now let's go the next. Show IP route, another command. Okay. So you guys have an idea, or you want me to finish the whole lab? No, anyway. Okay, so let's do the next one. We're gonna do the same thing on the next one. Because here they did not, they just told me R2 show IP route clear. All right. Okay, so this is what router is this? R2, right? So we're gonna go here and enable config T. Okay. Router rep. What is the next command? What we do after we enable router rep?
You write every network attached.
Version 2, don't forget version 2.
Oh, version 2. Yeah, I forgot.
Version 2. And what we do, what network is attached here? So we're just gonna do is 172.30.00 is attached all as well? No. R2 is attached to 209.165. Network 209.165 dot 201.0. What other network is attached to R2?
It's 10.1.1.2.
10.1.1. So what we're gonna do is just type 10.0.0.
No, you put network, and then you put in the IP address.
Yeah. No, network ID, okay? And we can just use 10 because it's the classless 10.0.0.0, okay? And yeah, so we covered those 10.0.0 both. And then what we have to do, what else? What are we missing?
The passive interface.
Yes. Here, router rep. Oh, we did not. Okay. Passive interface. Passive interface G. In this case, what is it? G0.
Yeah.
And now finally, we will configure this. Yeah. Router rep. What is the next command?
Version
Make
2.
it a habit. Version 2. Network. Oh. What network is router 3 is?
So you have 172.30.30.
Right here, 172.30. So we're gonna just use this because it's the same, right? 172.30.0.0. And what other network is? We're on S3, I forgot. No, R3. So 10.22.1. So, okay, you see, it's exactly the same as the other one. Network 10.0.0.0. Okay, in this lab, so Control Z. Let's see if everything works. Let's go to the why it's.
Oh, because you didn't put no shutdown on the router 2. So.
Oh yeah, you sure? router 2, which interface is configured? So router 2, serial 0 and serial 1. Okay, let's type. So how am I gonna verify which interface is
show. What do you call it? Show. I forget the command.
anybody? How I'm gonna verify which interface is, because in the topology I cannot. I don't know which.
Show
interface.
IP interface.
Brief.
Show IP interface brief. Thank you. You guys have to know these commands. Okay, serial. I did not configure. So how many? All right. So I'm in what route now? Okay. So router 2. I'm gonna go. This is the router 2. Okay. I'm gonna go show IP interface brief. Okay. So I have no problem on router 2. Okay, they're both up, S0 and S0. Router 2, S0 and S1, they're both up. Manual. Oh no, yes, manual down. 10.2.2 is manual down. Let me see. So config P. No. It's manual down. Okay. So it means the other interface is down. It's not administratively down, it's manual down. So it's the other, you see? So it's the other interface is down that is connected to. So what is the other interface is connected to? On R3, if you go look at the topology on R3, what is the other interface is connected to? R2 is S0. No. S001. Okay. Yes, you see, manual administratively down. What it means, I did not use
No shutdown.
no shutdown command. So config P interface S0 first. 1 no shut. Okay. Why didn't you use no shut?
Oh, you're just going quick, sir. It's okay.
No, I did it on purpose just to show you guys. Okay, now what we're gonna show IP interface brief. Manual up, manual up. You see, now it's manual up, right? Okay, now you see, so, well, anyway, I didn't do it on purpose, it just happened, but you guys learned something. What I was saying is, it says on, it says on this router, what did it say? It was manual down, remember? It didn't say administratively down, it says manual down. So remember I told you when it just says it's down, it means the other interface is not up. Okay. All right, so we have got all this green, which is good. Everybody likes green, nobody likes red. By the way, I'm in red these days. Okay, so what we type, show IP root. Let's see what we got here. Show IP. Voila, what we got here. Look at the routing. Can you, is it big enough or you guys cannot see?
Yeah, I can see, sir.
So what, so in the routing table, what do you see?
I see with the R. Let's see here.
So you see directly connected, local, and the entries from learned from the RIP protocol. So you see there are 3 networks. Okay. Here, let's see if we can get it here. One network, this one learned one network, and this one, how many network it learned? Show IP root. Oh, it has 2 entries, R and R. Now, if you configure all your host with the IP address, they all should be able to access each other.
Okay, so R means network that's learned through the RIP, the RIP.
Yes.
E is the direct,
Absolutely.
directly connected.
Exactly. Yes.
L is the local link connection.
Exactly. R is learned from RIP.
RIP.
If you notice, this address 209 is not connected to R3, it's connected to R1, I guess. No, it's connected to R2. You see? But now R2 knows about this network through RIP protocol.
And also, I think you said with the R, with the star symbol there, it's a propagation of the default network.
Yes, let's do that. You want to do this?
Let's do it, sir.
Why not? Let's go hard or go home.
That's right, exactly.
Either go hard or go. I gotta get with it. All right, to do that, first we have to configure a default route. Okay, so let's say 209 think is an ISP, is internet. Okay, and it's connected to R2. So what we have to do is first we have to configure a default route. So what is the default route?
Okay, it's gonna be
somebody had a lot of practice with default route the other day. Who's gonna help me how to create the default route? Actually, it's here, but how to create a default route? What is the command?
So it's a IP route, and then you put the 8 zeros, but you don't 8 zeros with the dot, but you don't put
1.0.0.0 and a space.
Yeah, space, and then you put a 0, then you put a dot. Yeah, and then you put the port, so it'll be like S0/0/1.
Or next hop IP address, which is 209. This is the ISP address, right? Because it's given in the lab, so it's better to use next hop IP at 209.165.201.2. Okay.
And the 209 that's the public address because he said it's a class list.
It's the no, it doesn't have to be with classless or classful. It's a public address.
Go to the internet. Yeah.
Yes, go to the internet. It's a public address because all the other addresses 172 and 10 that we configured before, they're not routable on the internet. Whenever the internet router receives a private IP address, that's why you need to know there's a list of private IP addresses in every class. Class A private address starts from 10. Class B private address is it's from 172. Okay. Class C private address starts from 198. So these are the private addresses. So every time you see an address starts from 10, 172, or 192, they are private addresses. They are not routable on the internet. So internet router, ISP router, whenever it receives a private IP address, it discards it. That's why we need network address translation. And for that reason, we need at least one public IP address. Okay. So in this case, this public IP address is provided to you by the ISP. So 209 is a public IP address. So we uh-oh. Anybody know what is wrong here? I know. Let's see, let's test your observation, troubleshooting skill.
5 zeros.
5.
5-0, exactly. Hey, even the expert can
Good,
make mistake, you see? So don't, with 0. So don't feel bad when you miss either 0 or add extra 0 or did not use a space. This is very common. A lot of people forget the space between 4 zeros. Okay, now all we have to do is this. If we don't, let's say if you're not using, if you were not using dynamic routing, we had to do this on every router, every single router. Okay, so if there are 10 routers, we had to use this command on the 10 router. But since we are also using dynamic routing, well, primarily you're using dynamic routing, okay? So we can use dynamic routing protocol to advertise the default route as well. This is like just advertising their own network with the network command. Now you're advertising the default route, okay? So you create the default route on the router that is connected to the internet, and you use the command on the same router. And you have to use it on, only once on the router that is connected to the internet, because people get confused. They think, oh, they have to do this in every router. No, you have to do this only on one router that is connected to the internet. So default.
Gateway, and then you put the default gateway.
You know what? Full disclosure, I'm gonna tell you, I don't even remember this command, so I'm just gonna default like the syntax. I know it's called default. You see, but I know what this command does. I know how it start. But even if you don't remember the exact syntax, it doesn't matter. You can always use question mark. Okay, but it doesn't give you. So default information ORIG.
I think your last letter here is an M instead of an N.
Oh, there you go. Another mistake. This is big mistake. Now, why it's a mistake? Why it's not recognized? Because I'm in a wrong mode.
You have to
I'm
go
in a
back
global configuration.
Higher
I have to be in
the
exec privilege within the interface.
no router mode.
RIP.
Because this is the RIP command. This is the command belong to router RIP protocol. So you have to be in that mode, router RIP. It's not a global configuration command. It's specific to the router RIP. Okay. So router RIP. Now I'm gonna use. Let's see. So let's say if I forgot. Oh, what is the command? I don't remember. All right, this is off default. Let's see if it gives me the.
You had it properly, sir. It was default information originate.
No, but I'm just showing you if you forget.
If you don't know, you put a question mark, and then it'll show you a list.
Yes, I know. I'm just showing, like, even if you forget the syntax, but you have to have an idea how this command starts or something and what you're doing. So even if you don't remember the syntax of the command, the help function will give you. Okay, so it says default information originate. Okay. No, actually, and now you forget. Okay, what is after default information? Here, you see, it shows you originate. And I didn't want to. I don't want to tell you what I did to complete the command, because I want you to type these commands first. Only when you get to my level, okay? Use shortcut. Okay, so default information originate, and that's it. Now we're gonna see if other routers actually receive this information. No. Oh, sorry. So we're gonna go there. How are we gonna see it? What command do we have to use?
IP show route.
Voila, we got it. Where is it?
Yep.
Where do you see
It's with
what
the
just
R
configured?
with
Huh?
the. It's on the bottom with the R with the what do you call that?
Asterisk.
Asterisk symbol. Yeah.
So you see now it appears here. Now everybody will be able to access the internet. So we didn't have to go. Now let's see if what other router R1 received it. So okay, got it. R1 2. All right, that's it. You guys have to do this lab. But you know, the fun is when you do this lab in the school and you connect one of the router actually to the internet in our
I'm still
school.
recording, sir.
Oh, instead of stop recording, I stop